NBA Straya, how are you going? You good? You should be. Why is that, Jim? Well, you're probably feeling better than your mate Dusty Jim. That's right. This is NBA Straya. It's Monday, March 23, aka the day after the big day not out. I am your dusty host, James Clements, here in Larry Armour Studios, fresh off being cheated out of a win on the big day not out against one of the pubs. Not salty about that at all, but anyway. DM me, I'll send you the breakdown. Anyway, what a weekend it was for the NBA. It was been, a little bit chaotic here and there. I missed a bunch of the games yesterday because I was out, boozing. But still, I did like the fact that we got to drown our sorrows like the rest of the day. But still, we've got 6 big weekend winners and losers from the playoff races for you on today's show. Because this is essentially what I've just been tracking the last few weeks, probably the last month and a half even, really. Just wanting to figure out where people are going to end up. Which teams are going to finish where. So we'll talk about that in today's show. We'll do some awards. That's on an iPhone, mate. No, mate. Spud of the night. Better Lonzo ball. We've got some very brief NARs, an unpopular opinion of the day, Outback Takehouse, and Andrew Gay's Great Mamba Reward. We'll check into the Aussies and then pick and preview tomorrow's games, which is fun. Tomorrow's show, I don't know if we're actually going to have time to do an NBA Straya tomorrow because I've got the squid all day tomorrow because of the industrial action by the teachers union, which is very smart. Pay teachers more. Simple as that. But it does, however, mean that he can't go to school because all the teachers are striking. So, yeah, here I am. Anyway, but we'll figure that out tomorrow. Hopefully we can get in for 5 minutes and just sort of whip through the games. But either way, let's get into it. Episode 1367. There you go. Diggity 7. Let's go.
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gay.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And 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 you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
Oh, you better watch out for the Justin Champagny attack if you're AJ Mitchell. That fight that spilled into the stands was pretty crazy. You better watch out for the attack of, cheating flog teams. I don't know. I'm so salty about basically having a win cheated away from us in the big day not out yesterday. Basically, you're playing 10 over games, right? And they had their scorers and they basically cooked the books and jobbed us in the end out of some runs here and there. It was just absolutely ridiculous. But my entire standpoint here is like, what are we doing? Who's cheating in a game of hit and giggle pub cricket? Absurd stuff by the champion, the team that went on to win the entire thing. So anyway, what are you going to do? The good thing is I spent the rest of the day drinking 1 million beers and, oh boy, paying for it today. So, without further ado, let's do the daily whip round. Oh, is that a whip crack chip? Yes, it is. We had the punch on in that OKC Wizards game, which, as I said on NBA Coffee Run this morning, it feels so dumb. Like the Wizards have quite literally just set their franchise record for losses in a row again for the 5th time. And they're fighting the best team in the league. What are you doing? Get out of here, you dummies. That's like cheating in a game of pub cricket. I went out for the worst golden duck you could ever imagine too. I hate left arm pace bowlers. I just lose it. My line of sight's completely shook. I got bowled by one last week. Got bowled by another one yesterday. I haven't been bowled in pub cricket in 3 years. And it's happened twice in the last 2 weeks with left arm pace bowlers. Anyway, so that punch on that spilled into the stands, so AJ Mitchell and Justin Champagny have been suspended a game. And you've also got a bunch of fines that they threw down on Jalen Williams, Cason Wallace, Anthony Gill, which is, anytime there's a sort of punch on that then spills into the stands, you always do get very worried. And I don't know, it's kind of like one game feels like that's fine, but are we trying to like not just, we're trying to discourage this, right? Maybe 3 games. Anyway, J-Dub is on his way back, which is kind of fun. Speaking of OKC, Jalen Williams, he's going to be back for the Sixers game. So that's fine. That'll be tomorrow. Just in time, I guess. So a bit of an Outback Takehouse. He hasn't actually been injured. They're just giving him extra time to heal and rest up for the playoffs. Surely, right? Come on, man. Steph Curry is also going to miss, I think, one more game, but is actually looking to return maybe later this week, which is very neat. Because, as we're going to talk about in this winners and losers, they desperately need him. Trae Young got injured again. Oh, geez, Jim, that's a surprise. No, it isn't. It's Trae Young. He's always injured. And he stinks. So he's hurt his right quad again. He had a contusion. But he's also got like this he's dealing with back pain. So they're like, well, that was fun. There's a little Trae Young cameo. Now sit down. That's what he's doing. So there you go. The other 2 little bits and bobs of news. Today, Minnesota won in Boston for the first time since 2005. 7,686 days. I do love it when they do that sort of stuff. And they're like, the number 1 song back then was Candy Shop by 50 Cent. And you're like, all right, yeah, it's a long time ago. And that's a really old song now. Great. Now I feel really old. I remember bartending when that came out, and it was just a massive, massive tune. It's like that and Usher. Always stunned me by how big they'd get that dance floor going in the clubs that I worked at. Anyway, and as I mentioned at the top, the Wizards have equaled their franchise losing streak record for the 5th time. Seriously, they've hit 16 straight losses 5 times now, and they've done it twice in the last 3 years, which is 4 times in the last 2 years. That's crazy. That team stinks. Fire them into the sun. Right. Let's do some, we're not going to do the game wraps and stuff because there's just too many games. Let's do some weekend winners and losers when it comes down to the playoff race. Playoffs? What are we talking about? Playoffs? Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? Where's that drop? I don't know. I've lost that one. That's a fun one though too, isn't it? You'd think I'd be able to like search for it on here too, and I just don't know where it is. But anyway, you think about the playoff drop, and it's just in the back of your brain. I forgot I've got this one. That's a good one. I got to use that way more often. What am I doing? Nerds.
Oh, nerd.
Uh-oh, nerds. Oh, wow, I've got some great ones on here. Anyway, let's do the weekend winners and losers.
Oh my God. I won! I won! Recapping our day's top story, the winner of today's state lottery is me.
Ken Brockman. There we go. Got a picture of me? Yeah. The Lakers.
The Lakers
are really good again. Not only does Luke Kennard hit that game winner against Orlando with like no time left on the clock, it was a sick shot, great shot by the Duckman, Luke Kennard. That's 9 straight wins for the Lakers. Not only that, Luka gets a tech foul rescinded. So he and Goga were going back and forth at each other. There's some weird stuff that Goga apparently, there was a lot of he said kind of stuff going on. It was very strange. And Goga Batase was like, I killed family. It's like, what the hell? I kill and eat family. I don't know if it's the eat thing, but it's just really strange shit from Goga. And Luka's like, what the fuck, Goga? Jesus, mate, settle down. So they sort of got into it a little bit. They both got texts. And then they both got rescinded. So that was kind of weird. But that's good. It means the Lakers get to keep Luka for this big game against the Pistons. I think that's tomorrow. But because they've kept on winning, because they get that Kennard game winner, they're essentially, and this is the playoff race part, they're basically now almost locked into the 3 seed. They got not locked in, they got a vice grip on it, right? They're up 2.5 games. There's only 11 to play, I think, for them. That's awesome, right? Like, having home court in any playoff round this year, I feel like is very, very, very important, both East and West. So for the Lakers to be sitting there going, cool, yeah, a 2-3 matchup in the second round might stink, but at least in the first round, we're giving ourselves a decent chance of getting out of that first round, which is kind of neat. So they're 46 and 25, 2.5 games up on the Rockets, who are going to pop up again in a second, but it's just like a bit of a... They've just cleared the morass. There's so much of a morass there, but they've just gotten ahead of it. The 9 games is awesome. It's the second longest winning streak in the NBA behind the Oklahoma City Thunder. But obviously, we talked about this the other day. The fact that LeBron James, who owns all the records, all of them, they're just all LeBrons, apart from how many titles did you win? Not as many as Jordan or even Kobe. You're on Shaq's level, but still, it gives the Lakers, like, LeBron being the sort of, right, I'll be the most awesome third banana we've ever seen. Luka gets his other sort of Jalen Brunson type in Austin Reeves, and then they have LeBron as a break in case of emergency kind of dude. It's working pretty well. The Orlando game was crazy. Orlando are a bit of a basket case anyway, but still, good job for the Lakers. You are one of our 6 weekend winners. Sticking at the top of the standings here, Detroit are weekend winners. But Jim, they lost Cade Cunningham to a collapsed lung. They did, and that sucks. But they're 51 and 19, and they just won both their games on the weekend. So they're now 4.5 games up on the Celtics because they're a winner. Because the Celtics also lost today. Bang, Detroit. That's basically a double win. Because 4.5 games, you might go, geez, that seems pretty fine, Jim. They've got 12 games left. If you go 6 and 6, you're fine. Yes, but it is a surprisingly tough run home here for this Cade-less Detroit Pistons team. They play the Lakers. They play Atlanta. They play the not so much of a pushover anymore because we keep winning our games out of absolutely nowhere, and we're now in the 11th seed in the West, New Orleans Pelicans. They then go to Minnesota, who just beat Boston. They go to OKC. They host Toronto, host Minnesota, go to Philly, go to Orlando, host Milwaukee. They go to Charlotte and then host Indy. There's like maybe 3 games in there where you're like, they should definitely win that. The rest of them, it's all a little bit up in the air. So Detroit needed to win those ones on the weekend. They did. Jalen Duren's playing really, really well. My sweet baby Karras is like doing okay, you know. You got Dennis Jenkins doing Dennis Jenkins stuff. But for the minute, they're weekend winners. I don't know if we're going to be saying that next weekend, but we are for the moment. Again, they don't have it locked away, but they have a very, very, very strong grip on the 1 seed in the East. Just behind them, your New York Knickerbockers of New York City, just taking care of business because this is where this playoff seeding race gets awesome. And this is why I love this stuff. The Knicks are only half a game back of the Boston Celtics. Seriously, a half game back. The Knicks are 47-25, Celtics 47-24. So, with Tatum sort of like, we'll get to Boston in a second. Tatum sort of a little bit iffy. He had a horrible shooting game the other day. But the Knicks just sort of taking care of business, right? So they eked by the Nets the other day, 93-92. The 14th straight game that they've beaten Brooklyn in this borough rivalry, just saying. And then they smashed the Wizards. So, look, all you can do is beat the teams in front of you. But that Brooklyn one was a bit of a sneaky one. They get by them. That's a good win. And now they've got a really, really interesting game against the Pelicans. Maybe not tomorrow, the day after. So, but with the Knicks, if Boston continue just to have these weird little blips here and there against half-decent teams, which I'll also get to later, the Knicks are like, hang on. Oh, can we get this 2 seed? Let's go. And like you think about what we saw last year with the Knicks against Boston in that playoff series. Do you remember what happened? The Knicks were winning it easily before Tatum did his Achilles, right? And then it was all bets off. But it came down to like this late game execution. The Knicks were flying. And you sort of felt like this year might be a little bit different. Boston looked pretty solid. But now the Tatum, you know, he's thrown a spanner into the wrench, as we like to say here in NBA Straya. So the Knicks are going to be feeling pretty good after that weekend. The rest of the East, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Basically, the winner out of this race right now is your Atlanta Hawks. Yes, their 11-game win streak came to an end over the weekend against Houston, but they then bounced back and beat Golden State. Dyson Daniels had an equal career-high game. He was absolutely awesome. But mostly, that 11-game win streak against like pretty crummy competition, we get it. But then bouncing back, yes, you lose to Houston. Turning around and beating Golden State was a big deal because it's just given themselves a very real chance at finishing top 6. And not even that, because Toronto just got absolutely obliterated by the Phoenix Suns. Atlanta do have a chance to jump up even further. They're a half game back of Toronto now. And this then leads into the next winner here, which we'll get to in a second. But Atlanta have to sort of fend off Philly, who are stinking, the Magic and the Heat, who are both on massive losing streaks. And you feel like they're playing better than anybody else in this like little strata of the playoff race. So awesome winning weekend, I guess, for Atlanta. Yes, you drop a game against Houston. You had to at some point, but bouncing back, beating Golden State was awesome. You are only up 1 game on the 9 seed, so you have to keep on winning. But Atlanta have been playing that well. CJ McCollum steadied them so nicely that you feel like they ought to at least keep this real interesting all the way down. So they play Memphis, at Detroit, at Boston, brutal. But then host Sacramento, host Boston again, at Orlando, that could be a huge game, at Brooklyn, host New York, back-to-back Cleveland games, and then a massive Miami game to finish off the season. So they had to bank all those wins. They did. Now comes the hard part, holding on. So there you go. The next winner is Charlotte. There you go, 3 straight wins. They're only 2 games out of the 6th spot as well. Right? And so this is what the cool part about their weekend was. They've now won 3 on the trot. But what it means is they have given themselves a shot of essentially either winning their way into the 6th spot or possibly the 5 spot, because Toronto are having a bit of a moment of, what was that? Oh, we just crapped down our pants. Good job. So the Hornets have a run of awesome home games as well. So they've just rattled off 3 straight home wins, right, against Miami, Orlando, Memphis. Huge wins, especially Miami, Orlando. They now host Sacramento, obviously a winnable game. Then they host New York, interesting game. Host Philly, big one in terms of the standings. Then they have a Boston game there as well. But then they go to Brooklyn, they host Phoenix, they host Indy. So they've got all these home games sort of back-weighted. They go to Minnesota, they're at Boston, host Detroit, host New York. So there is a really tough run in the last 4, but there's a couple of nice balancing out easy games in there. So Charlotte, big weekend winner as well, especially tagging Miami and Orlando with losses and them getting wins. They've really, really climbed back into this playoff race. It's very, very cool. And then the final weekend winners, because we've done the Lakers, we've done Detroit, we've done the Knicks, we've done the East 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Atlanta, and Charlotte. This is a combination, the West 4, 5, 6 race. Now, we've talked about this ad nauseum. 1, 2 is fine, right? OKC, San Antonio, it's still a race. OKC just don't look like ever losing again. That's fine. But all of these teams in the West, the 4, 5, 6 seeds, just finished off their weekends with wins. Minnesota desperately needed that one against the Celtics because they had been spiraling, bro. Spiraling, eh? And Houston did the same sort of thing. They won both their games on the weekend. Denver did as well. Good win over Portland. And all of them needed steadying wins, and Minnesota got one after dropping that Blazers game at home, which was just brutal. But to turn around and beat Boston in Boston, massive win. So good job, Minnesota. They needed it desperately. And so they sort of just pulled themselves back off the canvas. There's now enough sort of breathing room that they're probably not going to drop out of the top 6 now because we'll get to the losers in a second. But I don't know, Denver as well, fighting, scratching, clawing. It'll be them and Houston in like a death match for that 4 seed. And that's going to be a real fun series if it comes down to that. So anyway, that 4, 5, 6 race, the playoff race, is awesome. And they're the winners from the weekend because they all tagged themselves with a win that was much needed, at least in the case of Minnesota. 2 big wins for Denver, 2 big wins for Houston. Let's go. All right, what about weekend losers?
We're not losers. No, you 2 are winners, big winners. When I grow up, I want to marry a big winner like you guys. Shut up.
Losers.
Loser.
Losers. Florida as a state. Orlando and Miami both on 4-game losing streaks. And your reigning champion, Florida Gators, are out. They lose to Iowa. And then, sort of screwed up a bit of my bracket there, but still in the, what am I, in the top 95%? Something like that. That's pretty good. So that'd be the top 5% then. Jim, wouldn't it? Yes. I'm a math magician. But Orlando and Miami, huge weekend losers. Why was that, Jim? Well, they've both lost 4 straight. The Orlando one was a particular kick in the guts, losing the Lakers on a Luke Kennard, the Duckman game winner. Brutal. Just when you thought that you'd sort of turned a corner. But they are, 38 and 32, the Magic, in the 8 seed. And Miami are 38 and 33 in the 9 seed. Charlotte's playing better than both of them. And is only 1 game behind Miami, 1.5 games back of the Magic Man. And the flip side is Philly won both its games over the weekend to sort of just stay ahead of them. So, the Magic are a half game back of even Philly now. Whereas going into the weekend, you'd sort of hope that was tied. But Philly hit a nice little patch of their schedule where they've just beaten the Kings and then the Jazz, but now they play the Thunder. So, but a tough weekend for Florida. Orlando and Miami, 4 straight losses each. The 8-9 seeds looking all out of sorts as well as the big problem. So, Boston! Oh, dude, kid. Yep, losing to Minnesota really hurts their chances of stealing that 1 seed, doesn't it? 4.5 games is a lot to come back from with 11 games to play. But the rougher part is, I reckon, against teams like the Knicks, the Pistons, the Thunder, the Spurs, the Wolves, Nuggets, and the Rockets, Boston's 3-14 on the season. That's it's not great, Jim. I'll tell you what, that is not great at all. And I guess the other sort of big concern is that Tatum, he's coming back from an Achilles. You can't expect him to come back and be all guns blazing, Jason Tatum. He hasn't been that. He had a decent game the other day, and then had an absolutely brutal shooting game against Memphis. They snuck that one out. He shot 3 of 15. Yeesh.
Spud.
Yeah, he was Spud of the night there. 16, 11, and 2 against Minnesota today. But he shot, again, 6 of 16. So, it's been a bit of a rough day up. And he's gone 2 of 9 and 2 of 7 the last 2 games from downtown after that 5 of 11 that he went against Golden State and looked awesome. So, it's just the perfect amount of time, though, to get him reacclimatized, inserted back into this team ethos and figure out how it's going to go. Because he's played, 9 games since he came back? 1, 2, 3, 8 games. Jeez. It's not much, right? So, it's not exactly panic meters, but I'm just saying, keep an eye on that because if the Celtics drop to that 3 seed spot, seeding home court to any second round playoff matchup against the Knicks, if the Knicks win through, because who knows what would happen if either of these teams played Charlotte or something. But anyway, I'm just saying, Boston, it's a little bit of a worrisome sort of, moment. But they've also got a half decent schedule the rest of the way. Do the Celtics. So I sort of rattled off that Detroit one. You look at the Celtics schedule, it's a little bit more, amenable. They've got OKC, Atlanta, Charlotte, Atlanta, Miami, Milwaukee, Toronto, Charlotte, New York, New Orleans, Orlando. So you might have noticed 2 things there. One, there are only 2 remaining West teams on Boston's schedule. So they should have a little bit of an easier-ish kind of time about it. They don't have to travel very far. They don't have to travel any further than Milwaukee. So Boston are feeling pretty good about this right now for their last 11 games. So they should win a bunch of them. The OKC game will be very interesting. The Pelicans game will actually be interesting as well. But the rest of it, being able to tag the likes of Atlanta with a couple of losses, maybe Miami, Orlando, Charlotte, just sort of seeing how they match up, that's really important, right, for Boston. So that's good. Good on them. But also, weekend losers, dropping that game to Minnesota without Ant-Man. What are you doing? Toronto, getting Bones Highland. Jeez, you got Bones Highlanded. There can be only one. Toronto are another weekend loser because, as I mentioned, they are not looking great. They've lost 2 on the trot, 39 and 31 now too, and only a half game up on the Hawks in the 5 spot. If they drop lower than 5, it's a disaster for the Raptors. Because, yeah, if you can't fend them off, what are you doing? They're 4 and 6 in their last 10 games. It's literally the worst record of the top 10 East teams. Oh, boy. What are you doing, Toronto? They just looked all discombobulated against the Suns today. They got absolutely waxed in the end, 120-98. But, jeez, yeah, it's been a rough one, I tell you. Rough one. So to be only a half game up on the 6th seed, Toronto, you look at their schedule. They've got a couple of gimmies here. So they're probably okay for a little bit. But Utah, at Clippers as part of this big road trip they're on. Host New Orleans, host Orlando, at Detroit, host Sacramento, go to Memphis, go to Boston, back-to-back games against Miami, which will basically decide their seeding spots, I reckon. Play against the Knicks and then finish off with Brooklyn. So Toronto, I don't know. It's feeling a little bit dicey, but they might be able to just, stave off disaster. Phoenix got a massive win today against the Raptors. I just mentioned that, but it came after 5 straight losses, which has essentially locked them into the 7 spot. So, look, it basically bumped them out of the 6 seed race to even get in the conversation with Minnesota. So, bit of a rough weekend for Phoenix, but they did finish it off with a very good win against the Raps. It also just shone a big light on Jalen Green. It's like, hey, can you be efficient? He's like, no, I can't. He wasn't bad today, but yeesh, otherwise. And the other one, the other big weekend loser is the Golden State Warriors. Why is that, Jim? Well, they're in absolute free fall. They might get Steph Curry back now. We get that. That's fine. But at the same time, what are we expecting from him coming back from this weird runner's knee thing? They've lost 3 straight. They've only won 2 of their last 10 games. 33 and 38. Now, you might remember some ginger bloke with a giant beard at the start of the season was yelling at you to take the Warriors under. I don't do too many victory laps here because you don't get too many things right, Jim. Yes, settle down. But they are 1.5 games behind the Blazers now in the 10 spot. So, yeah, it's not great. And still, Draymond has the temerity to come on and talk shit to everybody. So, go figure. All right, let's do an NBA Straya Approved Performer of the Weekend.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
I'll tell you what. Darius Rucker, Judy Garland, and those LA Clippers, so they didn't pop up on this winners and losers, right? Because they sort of just keep on keeping on. They're 5-5 in the last 10 games. They're 35 and 36. They're the perfect sort of 500 team right now. They're in the 8th seed. They're a big whack behind the Suns. They're only a half game up on the Blazers, 2 games up on the Warriors. But Garland has been awesome. Against Dallas on the weekend, he dropped 41 points and 11 assists. He shot 8 of 12 from downtown. And this is the weird kind of cool part about that trade, is that Garland, if he can just have a healthy run at it, is awesome. The biggest problem is that the team he got traded to is the Los Angeles Clippers. So when you say, if he can only have a healthy run at it, it means it'll never happen because they are accursed. That's how it goes. And also allegedly circumvented the salary cap. But he was so good in that game. And you're like, ooh, more of that. It's just one of those things you go, ooh, get them into the play-in games. Who knows what could happen. Get into the 7 or 8 seed or whatever. They would still get waxed by the Thunder or the Clippers, but it would be Thunder or the Spurs with the Clippers, but it would be fun. Garland, Kawhi, off we go. What it do, baby? He's a fun guy. Honorable mention's got to go to Bam, who dropped the 32-point, 21 rebound, 4 assist game the other day as well, because he's just like, yeah, I'm pretty good. Remember that? I'm awesome at basketball. You're like, yeah, I guess you are. We got 40 from SGA against Washington in that fight game, which is pretty funny as well. Kawhi also, that was the thing about that Dallas game. Kawhi dropped 34 in the same game that Darius Rucker, Judy Garland had the 41. And then today you had Jaylen Brown look pretty good, but you got 26 and 16 for Cat as they demolish-rated Washington. Booker had 25. The 22, 14, and 14 from the Joker, Not bad either. Not bad. Who was Spud of the weekend, however?
Spud. Spud it is Spud. Spud
of the night. Tatum's 3 of 15 was pretty brutal, as I mentioned. But we also got 0 of 7 for Cam Spencer. Johnny Cumdog Millionaire Kaminga, 1 of 9. You got 4 of 17 for Booker yesterday. Brutal. But otherwise, not too many egregious ones. I mean, there was like a few shockers, but nothing, too crazy. 3 of 12 for Danny Wolf before he got hurt. 5 of 17 for Jrue Holiday. 5 of 16 for Dante DiVincenzo. You had EJ Little go 0 of 5, I think, today as well. But I would very much like to thank our good friends, Nolan Traore, Brooklyn Nets rookie, and fellow rookie, Jeremiah Zero Fears of the New Orleans Pelicans. He's got 0 fears of shooting. Yeah. Chill. He shot 311 and so did Nolan. You love that. Who's old mate, no mates?
Old mate, no mates. Old mate, no mates.
Old mate, no mates.
Old mate, no mates.
Old mate, no mates.
Old mate, no mates.
Who's got no mates today? That'll be Julius Randle. Chris Finch is like, nah, sit down, idiot. And benched him for like the rest of that the Boston game today. AO was going all right. Randle ends up only playing 29 minutes. Bones Highland goes off for his 23 points in 29 minutes and absolutely puts Boston to the sword. And meanwhile, Julius, it's no good. It's like, this is your time to shine, Julius Randle. And he's like, nah, check this out. I'm going to go and shoot 3 of 14 for my 9 points. Oh, you can see why he's old mate, no mates. Chris Finch is just going to be absolutely beside himself. But, yeah, anyway. Pantsing of the weekend. We had LeBron get absolutely waxed by Jabari Smith Jr., which is pretty crazy the other day. But this one was probably Jokic. I think he essentially, they scored and Jokic just sort of like looking around and then goes, hang on a second, no one's guarding me. And took it all the way to the cup. It was pretty funny against Portland. So I think Klingon just was like, oh, wait, where's he gone? And Jokic just dribbled up the floor and scored. That's a pantsing. You better believe that's a pantsing. Washington versus Indy as well. That's a pantsing because you got a combined, 0 of 31 games or whatever, I think, when they play, which is going to be unreal. Finally, better than Lonzo Ball, Benny Simmons and Bronny James today.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. We're coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody. How about my beloved Maxi Reno? 22 and 10 with a block and a steal and 2 assists. He was awesome against Brooklyn in that game for Sacramento. Jaden Hardy. He's out there on the Wizards. He had 25 points. I still believe in Jaden Hardy to a degree. He should be a bucket. Just needs a bit of runway. 7 of 13 from downtown. And Reed Shepherd was really, really good in that Miami game. It's almost like Ime Udoka's. He's almost there. He's almost there. He's like, Reed Shepherd is really good, but I can't play him because he annoys me. 23 points, 14 assists against the Heat. Not bad. Good size. VJ Edgecombe also had 22 points, 14 rebounds and 3 assists as well. Not bad. All right, let's get into some quick yeah-nahs right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to
Straya.
NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
Let's do it. Quick yeah-nahs are brought to you by you. That's right. You can shout us a beer, shout us a tin over at buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. Help keep the lights on, keep the pirate ship afloat. And you also get to join the Dead Set Legends Club, where you get an exclusive show each month. We're working on the one right now. So, yeah, go check it out. What is it? Buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. It's very cool. All right, some quick yeah nahs. Do Detroit hold on to the 1 seed, Jim? Yeah nah. Yeah. If Boston were flying, and if Boston had beaten Minnesota today and didn't get Bones Highlanded, there can be only one. I feel like Boston would have given themselves a real crack because, as I said, like the rest of that schedule isn't wildly imposing. And it's like one of those things where you look at it and go, ooh, we could really run the table here and get that 1 seed. But losing that Minnesota game, I think, throws a bit, again, a wrench in the spanner, a spanner in the works, where Boston probably just get a little bit more concerned about making sure they keep the 2 seed. So, yeah, I don't know. But Detroit, look, I think you look at their last couple of games, they've had, I mean, not the world's greatest terrifying array of opponents, but beating the Warriors the way they did, you're like, this is good. Jalen Duren's been really, really good. Dennis Jenkins has been handy as well, right? And they've sort of just been solid enough where Tobias Harris is like, hey guys, you needed me to step up and get 19 points? And they're like, that'd be great, Tobias Harris. And he's like, okay, here's 13 points. But Dennis Jenkins dropping 22 on the Warriors, 15 for basketball, Paul. Like, they might just be okay, the Pistons, so we're going to be all right. Would a 1-8 matchup between the Detroit Pistons and the Charlotte Hornets give us a 1-8 upset? Yeah, nah. Oh, could you imagine how much fun that would be? Defense versus offense, LaMelo, hopefully versus Cade. I don't know if Cade's going to come back. Who knows? But wow. Like, how much do you reckon Detroit would be like, can you please, 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 Orlando, make sure that you get the 8 seed or something? Because, wow, I would not want to play Charlotte if I was the Pistons in that first round at all. So, yeah, not great. And out there in the West, Jim, is the most dangerous floater still the Denver Nuggets? Maybe. Like, this was the thing I'd sort of talked about ad nauseum, I think. Like, for months, talking about, oh, Denver. Don't ever forget about Denver. And then the Lakers have just come in and pissed on everything, going, ha, look at us. We've won 9 straight. And you're like, fucking, God damn it. Fuck you again, Nico Harrison. Worst trade in all of sports history. I don't know if it's the Lakers. It still feels like the Nuggets might have the highest upside of all the teams outside of the Thunder and the Spurs, though, right? Right? Like, we knocked the Rockets out of the top, 7, 9 contenders or whatever that we had in power rankings on Friday. And Denver, look, the way they won the games on the weekend, very solid, very good. I still feel like they might be the one that goes, right, we can still go toe-to-toe in a series against both these teams at the top. Let's have a crack. The problem is Denver, they also might get waxed in the first round. Like, who knows? Depending on how these seedings shake out. Unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me. Look at me. This is, like, people keep calling this the dead period. I am fucking I'm frothing this basketball so much right now. Because, yes, any game that basically features, like, any of the shit teams, you're either looking for, like, a weird fucking upset or, like, you know, they're going to kill them, right? That's cool. Every other game that involves, like, actual sort of contenders, playoff contenders, has been fucking great fun. So just everyone chill. Outback Takehouse. Let's do a quick one of those. It's Monday at Outback, and you know what that means? Oh, yeah, me and the squids went down to, to kindy in school and had the cricket bats out the side of the scooters and whack, whack, whack. We got some magpies as we went past. A couple of kookaburras got in there as well, a couple of cockatiels. So, yeah, there you go. It's a mix and match wings special, only at Outback. Buffalo, magpie, kookaburra, cockatiel. Doesn't matter. It's all bloody delicious, and it's all at Outback. And today's Flame Grilled take is, I reckon, if we get Seattle and Vegas voted into, like, you know, being able to have franchises in the NBA again, Adam Silver is an absolute out-and-out coward if he doesn't go, right, we all need to sit down and figure out this schedule. Because A, I'm sick of nerds whinging about it at me. And 2, I think we can do it better. We've always done 82 games. Why? No one has ever been able to, it's always how we've done it, but not always. Because there's been times when we haven't done it. Just shush. We're going to figure out a better way to do it. The optimized way. What's the optimized way? Do you want to make the NBA Cup a massive thing? right? So you can have Outback Takehouse where you go, right, everybody just plays everybody twice. Gets you to what, 62 games if you've got 32 teams? And then you make the NBA Cup a big thing. Like a 32 team knockout March Madness thing, right? And as you just sort of progress, you have the losers bracket as well, and you just play it out. Just go full like EPL, right? If you want to go, just have a break in the middle of the season, go, right, now it's NBA Cup time, dickheads, and we go bang, 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 March Madness. And it's like fucking January fucking, I don't know, jump for January or some shit. It's going to be great. But fuck me. Like the whinging and the moaning, oh, we can't lose more money. Dude, you're about to cut yourselves checks for $500 million if you can sell these franchises for $7.5 billion each. So, I don't know. Maybe this might be the time to go, oh no, the $10 million that we lose per year from like hosting a couple of these home games, how are we going to make that up? I don't know. With all the extra money you've been making for the last fucking 20 years as the valuations keep going up and all your fucking TV money that keeps pouring in keeps going up. See, the weird thing about all this as well is, but suddenly there'll be less TV money. No, that's not how it works. The national broadcasters aren't showing every game. That's not how this works. This is the local fucking broadcast. And they contribute fuck all in terms of dollars to this entire deal. So, I don't know. I feel like we can take a little bit of a haircut now with a giant influx of cash to fucking salve the wound. Figure out the fucking schedule, mate. Simple as that. Let's go. Only at Outback. All right, Australian Player Watch for today. I had a couple of good ones on the weekend too. So, Josh Giddey up. Keeps crushing. The Bulls, I mean, they're bullying. What are you going to do about it? Against Cleveland, the other day, he had that 19 assist game. They haven't played since, I think. So, yeah, good on them. El Clasico, right? The Bulls just sort of cruising by, just being the Bulls. And I think the same sort of thing, Lockie Olbrich didn't play in that game either on Friday, did he? Or did he? Lachlan Olbrich, let's find out. I can't remember if he got out there. Let's do the thing where I press the buttons and find it out. Yeah, he didn't play in that game, so that's good stuff. But we did get really, really awesome Hawks game. So we had the 28-point explosion from Dyson Daniels for his equal career high against the Warriors. 28 points, 4 steals, 6 assists, 7 rebounds. Awesome game. Importantly, Dyson also went 2 of 5 from 3, which is very cool. Why is that, Jim? Well, it's because it's the first time, I want to say, that's right, this season that he has hit multiple threes in a game. Not a word of a lie. That game was the first time he's hit multiple threes in a game this season. So that's good. I'm just saying. Good job, Dyson Daniels. Jock Landale in that same game played 19 minutes. He had 7 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, and 3 steals. Not bloody bad for the Rooster. Josh Greeny Green for your Charlotte Hornets got out there as well. Against Memphis, he played 20 minutes. He had 5 points, 4 rebounds, and a steal. And on Friday, he had 5 points, 3 rebounds, and a steal against Orlando. So that's kind of neat. Aussie Matty T got out there as well. Old Matisse Tybal. Good to see him get out there and cause a little bit of havoc. Does our man Aussie Matty T. Against Denver, he had 3 points, 3 steals, 3 rebounds. 3 for 3. 1 of 6 shooting from the floor, 1 of 4 from downtown. And he had 5 points, 3 rebounds, and a block against the Wolves back on Saturday. So, not bad. Oh, it's a pretty good size. And as for the Minnesota Timberwolves, our beloved Jinglin' Joe Ingles did not play coach's decision today, which you get on the big jobs. It's like he and Mike Conley just sort of hang out and not too much. But yeah, it sort of followed his 7-point season-high outburst last week against Utah, his old team, which is very fun. And I don't believe Rocco got out there on the weekend either. Let's just quickly check. Was that Rocco? Did you get out there? He's like, no, mate. No, he did not. That's it. I don't think Tyrese Proctor's back and healthy yet. I haven't seen him come off the injury report. So just quickly check. Because of his quads. Yeah, he hasn't played since the end of April. So, but there you go. All right, quick Andrew Gay's Great Mamba Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence.
Andrew Gay's Great Mamba.
Clap it up. There you go. So, Kevin Durant went past Michael Jordan. What? On the all-time scorers list. That's right. So, 32,294 points, going past MJ with 32,292. So, that leaves KD 5th all-time. Behind LeBron James, Kareem, Karl Malone, Kobe Bryant. Not a bad list. And he's not too far behind Kobe either, so that's pretty good. LeBron also broke Robert Parrish's regular season games record the other day as well. We talked about the 16-11 that he'd played. He obviously played again on the weekend, so played 16-12. 1,612 games is just... It's immense. It's so many games of basketball. Good on you. All right. How about a quick Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in for Paddy Mills out there with Tenerife right now, which is very cool. All right. So, Paddy, what's he up to? He is out there with Tenerife doing some good stuff. That's about it. Some good stories there. Looking good. Couple of highlights. Happy days. Right. What games have we got tomorrow, Jim? Well, we'll find out with some game previews. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Oh, yeah. Recovering slowly. We have a huge day tomorrow. I think it's at, 10 games? So, LA Detroit is obviously that awesome one right off the bat. Lakers at Pistons. Lakers are 2.5 point favorites on the road. I think they might get their 10th straight here. Pistons defense will be very good. I just don't know if they've got the horses to stick with LA on offense. So we're going to go the Lakers there. Indy, Orlando. This should be Orlando's sort of drought-breaking win. They desperately need to win this one. Indy are 13.5 point underdogs, though, in Orlando. And considering how badly Orlando have been playing, I might take Indy plus 13.5. OKC are 15.5 point favorites in Philly. Philly still don't have anybody, so I'm going to go OKC minus 15.5. The Spurs go to Miami. A replay of the 2013-14 finals. It's kind of cool, isn't it? Some of the greatest series you'll ever see. Some of the beautifulest basketball. Most beautiful basketball you've ever seen. Spurs are 5.5 point favorites in Miami. Wemby versus Bam. That should be a good one. I might go the Spurs. They've been playing very well. Miami, not entirely convinced. Atlanta host Memphis. They're 13.5 point favorites of the Hawks. I can't trust the Hawks to cover that. They're the Hawks. I'm going to take Memphis plus 13.5, even without anybody playing for them. Houston, Chicago. Rockets on the road. Chicago just stink. 7.5 point favorites, though, Houston. They probably should cover that, shouldn't they? I think their defense will be a little bit too good for the Bulls. Let's go Houston. Toronto, Utah. Raptors on a back-to-back. I might take the Jazz plus 12.5 there. Toronto beat bad teams, we know that, but on a back-to-back, having played in Phoenix, late playing out, go up to the mountains. Yeah, I'll take Utah plus 12.5. Golden State at Dallas. Oh boy, Dallas on the tank train. They're 2.5 point underdogs at home, the Mavs. I might still take the Mavs here. They don't want to win this one, that's the problem. How do you balance that out? Ooh, let's find out. The Mavs have lost 3 straight. They're in the, 23 wins. They need to keep on losing. I reckon I'll take the plus 3.5 because I think they might have a bit of a chance, but it is a gross one. That is it's like, how much do you trust Dallas to actually full-blown pull off the tank loss? So, might still go Dallas plus 2.5. Portland hosts Brooklyn. They're going to kill them. 14.5 points. Taking the Blazers, simple as that. Clippers, Milwaukee as well. The Bucks are tough, but no Giannis. We're going to go the Clippers minus 13.5 because that Bucks team just stinks. But I don't know. The Clippers are so rough to get a read on. And I'd be taking that one a bit nervously, but there you go. That's where we are. And there you go. That's it for today. What a weekend it was. Still very dusty. So as I mentioned, we might have a really, really quick short one tomorrow, like 5-10 minutes, if I can jump in front of the computer, etc., in the studio with the squids running around in the background, but we'll see how we go. So that's the weekend wrap. In the meantime, make sure you're following NBA Straya on Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, and YouTube. We're all over the socials, you know that. NFL Straya with myself and Gaz. Jim does Supercoach. We're going to be doing the NBA Supercoach show later tonight, so that'll go up. Disaster of a week, right? Ant-Man going down. Cade going down with his collapsed lung. Alpi Şengün missing a game. Kawhi missing 2 of the 3 games this week. It's just chaos. So, yeah. Brutal. Anyway, Jim does Supercoach out Monday for NBA and I think Thursday for AFL. So get around that. Subscribe everywhere. And Footy Unfiltered, our new AFL show, myself and Jez. It's a ripper. It's really, really fun. I'm enjoying it heaps. So go subscribe to that. Go check it out on YouTube as well. You can see our ugly mugs having a chin wag. Rate, review, star, subscribe across all of your podcast apps, of course, for all of those shows. Get around buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya as well. Help us out if you can. It'd be much appreciated. Help keep the lights on over here. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. They rule. So do House Hats, Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, iOS Extra, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear on the show, so smash them all on your music streaming platform of choice. But that's it. Nothing at the end of this one. I've got to get out of here and go pick up the squid. So I'll try and do a Delhi review later this week. How good was that game 1 where the Kings just obliterated the Sixers? Jeez. I feel like Delhi's flying at the moment. But anyway... so we'll catch it on Jim Does Supercoach later tonight. You'll hear us on Footy Unfiltered tomorrow night, and we might have an NBA Straya tomorrow, a very quick one. So keep your eyes and ears out. Righto, that's it. We'll catch you tomorrow, you dickheads. This is NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And later, hosen.